Very good session to one and all. Welcome to physics class. So, now today we shall discuss about the temperature and its scale. Okay, so temperature. So what is temperature? Temperature means nothing but which gives us the degree of hotness or coolness. And how the temperature is measured? The temperature is measured using a thermometer. Right? And we find how many types of thermometers? We have different types of thermometers like Kelvin. In thermometers we use different types of scales. So what are the different types of scales? Means Kelvin scale and Celsius scale and Fahrenheit scale and Reaumur scale. Okay, like this we have different types of scales. And here on these different types of scales, how the scaling is done on Kelvin scale, Celsius scale, Fahrenheit scale and Reaumur scale. On Kelvin scale we take 273 to 373. Reading starts from 273 to 373. On Celsius scale we take reading from 0 to 100, and on Fahrenheit we take readings from 32 to 212, and on Reaumur scale we take reading from 0 to 80. And what is thermometer constant? What is thermometer constant? In this case the thermometer constant is taken as it is constant for all scales. So what is that means? Reading on a scale minus lower fixed point divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point. So this is the constant for all scales, right? Now we write this constant for all these four scales. So what do we get? If you write all these, what will get? K minus 273 by 373 minus 273 is equal to C minus 0 by 100 minus 0 is equal to F minus 32 by 212 minus 32 is equal to R minus 0 by 80 minus 0. Like this we can get the equation or relation between the four different scales. Okay, this we can rewrite as K minus 273 by 100 is equal to C by 100 is equal to F minus 32 by 180 is equal to R by 80. This is our fundamental equation for converting a scale from one thermometer scale to another thermometer scale. This we can do it. Okay, is a thermometer constant. We can call it as a thermometer constant, and this thermometer constant is nothing but reading minus lower fixed point minus upper by over 1 by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point. Reading minus lower fixed point upon upper fixed point minus lower fixed point. So from this we got the relationship between all the four scales. This is one. Next, if not only we have this we have this type of scales, this type of thermometers. Thermometers are also based on the resistance. If thermometers are based on the resistance, if they are based on the pressure, then how to determine the temperatures at that particular pressure, at a particular resistance? Suppose if thermometers now we talk about what we call now, if the suppose there is a situation now, the thermometer is constructed using resistors. If the thermometer is constructed using resistors, that means a thermometer is constructed using resistors, right? Suppose some resistor Ri, initial resistance is Ri, it denotes melting point of water, suppose, and resistance Rs, if it denotes boiling point of water, suppose, okay, or steam point of water, it is a steam point of water, and melting point of water, it is in the form of ice, melting ice it is, right? And we want to find out the R theta is equal to how much at a particular resistance. What will be the suppose some resistance is given. At this resistance R theta, what will be the temperature? So theta is equal to how much at this particular point? At the particular resistance R theta, what will be the temperature? This is the question, right? So how to find the theta value now? So first of all, what we should do means the change in this resistance we have to find. What is the change in this resistance? The change in the resistance means what you will get? Rs minus Ri. This is corresponding to how much degree Celsius? Steam is at 100 degrees Celsius. Ice is at 0 degrees Celsius. So the change in the temperature is how much here? It corresponds to 100 divisions, 100 parts. That is 100 degrees Celsius. It corresponds to Rs minus Ri corresponds to 100 degrees Celsius. How we got this one means 100 degrees Celsius minus 0 degrees Celsius. That is nothing but 100 degrees Celsius. Rs corresponds to 100, Ri corresponds to 0. So the change in the resistance corresponds to 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, right. Next, R theta corresponds to how much temperature? We don't know. You take it as X, suppose. Let it be X. So what we get here now, x into, you just do the cross multiplication. We want the cross multiplication, right? So what you will get if you do the cross multiplication, what you will get? X into Rs minus Ri. Okay, so R theta means initial temperature, how much here? R theta minus Ri corresponds to X. Here Rs minus Ri corresponds to 100 degrees Celsius. Similarly, R theta is a resistance carried forward from Ri. From Ri to R theta, it is increased, resistance increased. So that's why you have to take R theta minus Ri. So R theta minus Ri is corresponding to how much? R theta minus Ri is corresponding to X. So X into Rs minus Ri, cross multiplication we are doing. This is equal to R theta minus Ri into 100. Okay. Now I want X value, so you cross multiply this one to this side. So what you will get? X is equal to R theta minus Ri into 100 divided by Rs minus Ri. This is our formula to calculate the temperature of a known resistance corresponding to known resistance when thermometer is constructed using resistors. Okay, when the thermometer is constructed using resistor, then we take this here theta is nothing but x only, x is theta here, right? So our formula can be rewritten as theta is equal to R theta minus Ri by Rs minus Ri into 100. This is our formula to find out the temperature corresponding to resistance, particular resistance. Okay, so we shall do one problem based on this one to understand. Okay, for understanding better, we shall do one small problem, very simple. Okay, we shall do that problem now. So right, suppose a resistance of 5 ohms is at 0 degrees Celsius, that is melting point of ice, and 25 ohms at 100 degrees Celsius. A thermometer is showing this much resistance. One thermometer is there, it is showing how much resistance? A resistance of 5 ohms at 0 degrees Celsius and 25 ohms at 100 degrees Celsius. Find at 25 degrees Celsius, find at 25 degrees Celsius what is the resistance. Find at 25 degrees Celsius what is the resistance. Okay, so like this he asked. Now we shall write all these things. First of all, what is this one? This one is called as Ri. This one is Ri, and this one is what actually? This is Rs. This is because resistance at steam. resistance, initial resistance, that is at melting point. RS means resistance at steam, that is at 100 degrees Celsius. And this is what actually, this is the theta value is given here. Theta value is given here. And corresponding resistance at theta value, that is R theta, is equal to how much? We have to find. He is asking what is the resistance at 25 degrees Celsius, means R theta we have to find. So let us write a formula first of all. What is the formula actually? Theta is equal to 100 into Rs minus Ri upon here R theta minus Ri upon Rs minus Ri. This is a formula, right? This is the formula. Actual formula is this one. So we know theta value, we know Rs, we know Ri, we don't know R theta. Only this is the question mark, right? Only this one we have to find. Okay, substitute all the values. Theta is equal to how much here? 25 degrees Celsius. So 25 as it is, 100 into R theta we don't know, you keep R theta like that only. Ri we know, that is 5, and divided by Rs, how much it is? Rs is 25 ohms minus, and Ri is 5 ohms. Okay, so what we'll get here? You write 25 is equal to, you just cross multiply 25 by 100 is equal to R theta minus 5 by 20 you will get. Okay, 25 ones are 25 fours are. Cross multiply this one to this side. So if you cross multiply this one to that side, what will you get? If you cross multiply this, what will you get? This implies R theta minus 5 is equal to 20 by 4. So 4 ones are, 4 fives I will get. Take this minus sign to this side, it will become plus. So R theta is equal to 5 plus 5, that is equal to 10. 10 ohms, it is our answer. 10 ohms is our answer. Okay, so like this we can calculate a R theta value, right? Now in the same way, if a pressure is given, what to do? Initial pressure is given, final pressure is given, then what to do at the time? Okay, that is also an important question. Okay, that type of questions will also be asked here, right? So how you will ask that question? Suppose there are 3 kinds of pressures. One is at initial at 0 degrees Celsius, and another one is at steam, right? And another one is corresponds to certain temperature. Then what is the formula to calculate that one? What is the formula to calculate that one? Okay. So here, what is that means? See, very simple it is. Suppose there is a beaker, it is filled with some water. Okay, suppose it is ice. Suppose initially it is at ice, it is a melting point. Okay, initially it is a melting point, it is ice. It is at, suppose it is at 0 degrees Celsius. The pressure here, it is Pi. Suppose Pi is the pressure, right? Next, I supplied some heat energy, I heated this, it turned into water. Further I heated it, it reached some temperature theta, degrees Celsius, some temperature. At this point the pressure is P theta, suppose, right? When I heat this, I heated this, it turned into water, and it is increasing its temperature, some theta degrees Celsius. Further I heated this, again I heated this, further I heated this. What happened? When I heated it further, Now it is boiling. It is boiling. So it is converted to steam. It is converting to steam. So when it is converting to steam, definitely it will have latent heat of vaporization. So the temperature does not rises. The temperature remains constant during the state of conversion. Okay. So here the final temperature, final pressure is PS. PS. Now I want this theta value. I want this theta value. How to find the theta value? The same formula we are going to employ. See here, initially in the previous section what we have written, theta means 100 into r theta minus ri by rs minus ri we have written. Similarly here r is changed to p, pressure. Here r for resistance, right? In the previous section r for resistance, here p for pressure. Here now just it is for pressure, corresponding pressure at corresponding temperature, right? We are going to find. So that is theta is equal to 100 into p theta minus pi divided by ps minus pi. So like this we can find out for pressure also, right? For pressure also we can find out like this, right? So this is the formula. In two types we can write this formula. For resistors we can write out, and for pressures we can find out the corresponding temperatures. Okay, like this, right? So here we shall recall Boyle's law and Charles' law. So we know as per the relations. What does this Boyle's law states? That we already know. What is Boyle's law actually? What is Boyle's law? As the pressure increases, then what happened to the volume? Volume will be decreasing. So P is inversely proportional to V, where P stands for pressure and V stands for volume. V stands for volume, P stands for pressure. Pressure is inversely proportional to volume. So pressure into volume is equal to constant. Pressure into volume is equal to constant. And if it comes to this Charles' law, what happened? Charles' law, it says that volume increases because the temperature increases. Volume increases because temperature increases. So he says that V is directly proportional to temperature, right? So from this relation we get that V by T is equal to constant. V by T is equal to constant, right? And even pressure also increases due to Gay-Lussac's law. This is as per the Gay-Lussac's law. Pressure increases, temperature also increases. Pressure increases, then also the temperature increases. So here also we can say that P is directly proportional to T. So P by T is equal to constant. P by T is equal to constant. So this is our equation number, this is 1, this is the equation number 2, and this is the equation number 3. Combining the equations 1, 2 and 3, we get PV by T is equal to constant. PV by T is equal to constant. Here P is the pressure, V is the volume, and T is the thermodynamical temperature. And T is the thermodynamical temperature. So what is the thermodynamical temperature means? T is called as the thermodynamical temperature. It is independent of any property of the matter. It is independent of any property of the matter. That means here we will further explain what is that thermodynamical temperature. suppose if we plot a graph, suppose I am taking the x-axis, y-axis and x-axis. This is y-axis, this is x-axis. Now just now we have got pressure is I am taking on y-axis, temperature I am taking on x-axis. So P versus T graph, right? So when I try to draw a graph for P versus T graph, what I got like this, because pressure is increasing as the temperature increases. So the temperature is increasing here, pressure is increasing here. So its value is here this much, and next the value is increased, and here also increased. So T1 to T2 temperature is increased, and here P1 to P2 also the pressure increased. So this is very clearly saying that pressure is directly proportional to temperature. This graph is showing very clearly. From the experiments I have got this graph, right? So interestingly, what happened, I extended this line. It is meeting somewhere some point on the x-axis, negative x-axis. It is meeting at some point over negative x-axis, x dash, negative x-axis. So when it meets this negative x-axis, I interpolated this value. I got it as exactly minus 273.16 or 156 like that. It goes going on, right? So this minus 273.15 is called as absolute temperature. Absolute temperature, right? So this is called as absolute temperature, and it is nearly taken as minus 273, right? Okay, so this minus 273 is taken as absolute temperature, and it is given a unit Kelvin. Minus 273 Kelvin is the absolute temperature. At this particular point, what is happening? The substance existed in 3 states, so it is also called as triple point of water. The water exists in 3 states, that is solid, liquid and gases. Okay, so the triple point of water, is not minus 273, it is plus 273.15 or 16, 157 or 156 like this. It goes on, right? Okay, so this is called as a triple point of water, right? So in some books it is given 273.16, and in some books it is given 273.15. So nothing to worry about it. It is nearly 273.15 or 16 we can write. And at this place, why we have taken place means because there is a relation between degree Celsius and Kelvin. What is that degree Celsius with Kelvin means? 1 degree Celsius, that is if you want degree Celsius temperature, you have to add 273 to Kelvin. If you add 273 to Kelvin, then you will get a degree Celsius temperature. Okay, so actually the melting point of water means we will write it as 0 degree Celsius somewhere, no? So if you add this plus 273 to this water, then what happens? You have to take this in Kelvin only, right? So then what happened? At this particular point, this it will show in degree Celsius as near to 0 degree Celsius. This 273.15 Kelvin nearly equal to 0 degree Celsius. Okay, so at the time the water is melting. Melting means nothing but solid is there and liquid is there. Liquid state of water is there, solid state of water is there, and due to the air, due to the presence of atmospheric air, some of the water is also getting evaporated, right? So gaseous state is also present. So 3 states are present at that particular point. So that's why it is called as a triple point of water. Okay, this at this minus 273.156 absolute temperature, the pressure will become 0. The pressure will become 0 at this point. The pressure is 0. because on y-axis we are taking pressure, x-axis we are taking temperature. When it intercepts the x-axis, on x-axis, y value is 0. So that's why pressure is 0 at this absolute temperature, that is minus 273.15 Kelvin. That is called as the absolute temperature. Kelvin is called as the absolute temperature, right? So this is about so I am taking a beaker with some water. I am heating this. So I am supplying the energy, heat energy Q heat energy I am supplying to this beaker, right? So initially the mass is m1, right? And here so from this what I understand is I supplied some heat energy Q1 for mass m1. Now I am increasing the mass to m2. Now I am increasing the mass to m2 and I supplied the heat energy Q2 in this case, right? So from my analysis from this experiment I like that if m2 is greater than m1, definitely it implies that Q2 must be greater than Q1. If I increase the mass of water, definitely I want to raise its temperature to T degrees Celsius, and this one also I want to raise the temperature to T degrees Celsius. So here the temperature remains constant. In these two cases the temperature remains constant, but the mass is increased. M2 is greater than m1. I am taking the more quantity of water here, less quantity of water here, but both beakers contain water. I want to raise the temperature to T degrees Celsius only. In both the cases I want to raise the temperature of the water to T degrees Celsius only. So in this case what happened, when I keep this temperature constant and specific heat constant and I am changing the mass of the water, so the mass is increasing, the amount of heat energy I supplied to the system is also increasing here, right? So from this I understand that Q is directly proportional to mass of the substance. So now next what I will do, I will keep the mass constant, but I want to increase the temperature. Same mass. Now the masses of the water is the same, but I want to increase the temperature. For increasing the T1 degree Celsius temperature, I got Q1 amount of heat energy. For increasing T2 degree Celsius of temperature, I require Q2 amount of heat energy. So from this I understand that if T2 is greater than T1, definitely Q2 is also greater than Q1. So from this case I got that Q is directly proportional to temperature. And next, this is an equation 1 and this is an equation proportionality 2. Next, from 1 and 2, what I can write here? From 1 and 2 I can write that Q is directly proportional to mass and temperature. Okay, and I want to remove this proportionality constant. So here what is constant in all the cases, in both the experiment, what is constant? specific heat of a substance is constant. Yes, I am taking as a specific heat. So that is nothing but Q is equal to mst. And moreover, here I am increasing the temperature from T degree Celsius to T2 degree Celsius. Here also I am increasing the temperature from T degree Celsius to T1 degree Celsius. So there is a change in the temperature. So the temperature change is there. So that's why I am going to introduce this m delta T, that is ms delta T. Ms delta T, this is called as the equation of heat energy. How to calculate heat energy? Using mass, specific heat and change in the temperature, ms delta T. And here one more thing we are going to know, that is what is the specific heat actually. What is the specific heat? Specific heat is nothing but that is nothing but S is equal to, cross multiply both the things, Q by m delta T you will get. So specific heat is defined as the amount of heat energy. Specific heat is defined as amount of heat energy that is used to raise the unit mass of a substance by unit degree Celsius temperature. So suppose 1 kg of mass, we are increasing the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, or 1 degree Kelvin, or 1 degree Kelvin, or 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. Okay, 1 gram of a substance, the temperature raised by 1 degree Celsius. So how much heat energy is required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of a substance to 1 degree Celsius? That heat energy is required is called as specific heat. For each substance, a definite value of specific heat will be there. No two substances will have same specific heat. Different substances will have different specific heats. And what is heat capacity? Specific heat means we understood. Specific heat is nothing but the amount of heat energy required to raise the unit gram mass of a substance by unit degree Celsius temperature. Unit temperature rise in unit temperature. Okay. Next, heat capacity means nothing but here we are going to calculate Q by m is called as heat capacity. So heat capacity formula is specific heat into change in the temperature. Specific heat into change in the temperature. Okay. So this is called as the heat capacity. The heat capacity is defined as the amount of heat energy that is required to raise the temperature of the whole body by 1 degree Celsius. To increase that is nothing but specific heat. Heat capacity is nothing but specific heat of the substance. If we increase the temperature of the whole body by 1 degree Celsius temperature. Okay. If you raise the temperature, only raising temperature is required here, heat capacity. That is nothing but S delta T is called as a heat capacity. Right. Whole mass is considered here. So that's why you won't see mass in the formula for heat capacity. Right. Specific heat should be divided with, is multiplied with mass. If the specific heat is multiplied with mass, then we will get the what we call here Q by m. So specific heat is multiplied with the temperature, right? And Q by m is called as a heat capacity, right? So like this we can calculate the heat capacity.